Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD, is a lifelong neurodevelopmental disorder that includes impairment in communication, speech, and social interactions with restricted, repetitive patterns of behavior or interests. It affects the way a person makes sense of the world around them. Autism leaves children with very limited ability to express themselves. It has a profound effect on the family. It demands a lot of attention and sacrifice. All of their lives revolves around the needs of the autistic child. Typical children acquire life daily skills as easily as they breathe. But children with autism have to be taught painstakingly, repetitively, and with endless patience. This is Dr. Doris Izuwa. She runs a private autism center in Abuja, the OLG Health Foundation and Autism Center. She organizes and designs various programs and activities for autistic children under her care. This is a playmate with other neurotypical children from primary schools around her center. Autism can take the fun out of life. At the Autism Center, they work tirelessly to put it back. Dr. Doris speaks on autism and the early signs and red flags to look out for.
All of us do have milestones per age, and they are age period, which means at a particular age, a child is expected to do something and have a timetable of what he or she is supposed to have done. For example, by the age of 6 months, behaviorally, at least a child should be able to interact with the parents, know who the mother and the father is, have what we call stranger anxiety. When the stranger is coming to carry you by the age of 9 months, you should know, be able to be happy when the parents walk into the room, always smiling, babbling, and cooing. And then by the age of 1 year, if your child seems to be overtly independent, doesn't care whether you're in the room or not, appears to be aloof and indifferent to you, not even saying a single word, not pointing, not waving. These are red flags. Then by the age of 2 years, if your child do not have maybe 2 words in a sentence, or also appears in an aloof, not playing with other children, not doing things together with the family, always doing one particular thing or rocking, showing some repetitive behaviors like rocking, flapping, gazing at things for a longer period of time, preferring to eat a particular food in a particular way. These are all red flags. So usually for autism, they could have delayed developmental milestones at one point in time. They are pointers for you to go for proper assessment.
Autism is a spectrum disorder, which means there is a wide degree of variations in the way it affects people. Every child on the autism spectrum has unique abilities, symptoms, and challenges. They are specially gifted. Here is David, a child who looked healthy from birth, but stopped achieving his developmental milestones shortly after his first birthday. His parents weren't sure of what was wrong with him, but they were asked to wait until he was 3 years old to be sure if he had autism. Having to raise and care for a child with autism is devastating for most parents. Here is David's mother, as she recounts her experience.
I noticed first of all, he was walking on his toes. He wouldn't allow his feet to touch the floor. Initially he had speech. Subsequently, he just stopped talking. So we went to see a professional. They gave us time to come back when he was 3 years old for them to do it, for them to be able to confirm if he was autistic or not. So when he was 3, we went back and they ran some tests and some other things, and that was when they told me he was within the spectrum. So we started therapy immediately. He could say dada, mama initially, but he didn't go beyond that. But most times, when I complain, as in, most people say, it's the first child. He doesn't have anybody to interact with. So most kids are slow. Most kids will speak later and all that. So, but I was a bit worried. So I was like, okay, let me give it time. So when I noticed he was about a year and 8 months, he was repeating things, like he does things repeatedly. Then he always liked to run in circles. Actually, I never knew anything about autism. I think my son was the one that really made me know, because I think the awareness wasn't really there, so I didn't really know about it. But because of his behavior and everything, I started reading, like going on Google to do my own research. But I didn't want to believe that was what it was till I saw a pediatrician. Initially, when they told me it was autistic, it was as if my world has ended.
Nigeria and Africa in the whole is a highly religious community. No doubt there are spiritual explanations for a child with neurological problems, like autism.
Yeah, a lot of people came with ideas, this spiritual, this, and a lot of people say, go for deliverance, go for this. And I said, I'm a Christian, I pray to God, but there are over 1,001 kids that are autistic. So are you telling me that all have demons in them? Most parents need to be educated. That's what I believe, because most people, they just feel it's spiritual. Somebody cast play a curse, or somebody touched their child and something happened to that child.
Dr. Doris also has a story to tell on how religion has hampered the proper care for children with special needs.
The one I wish to share is that of a 20-year-old lady with autism we met that was in Port Harcourt, and she was non-verbal, that she doesn't talk, and she wasn't in school. I think she just did few years in primary school and they stopped, and she's been homebound since then. They don't allow her to go outside the house. And then the mother decided to bring her when she was 20. When she came, because she's been in confinement, she couldn't stay in the classroom, even on one-on-one. So we had to take her to a cubicle where she will stop throwing tantrums, because it's a cubicle enclosure. And after 1 month of working with her, she really changed. She became friendly. She stopped self-injurious behavior. She stopped hitting other people and spitting at other people. She was happy. And after 1 month, they withdrew the child from OLG, and we were concerned. So we went home visiting, and the mother was crying. She was weeping. I said, Mommy, what happened? Why did you stop your child from coming? She said, because she's a deacon in the church. And then the church has said that if she doesn't have enough faith to heal her own daughter, and she will take her daughter to a special school, then she is not fit to be a deacon. So it's either she keep on praying in the house, or she will not be ordained, or she'll be stripped of her position, because she said when she goes for evangelism, people in the church will not believe her because she didn't have enough faith. So you see a mother weeping, and the daughter, when she saw us, she carried her bags and came and stood by us because she wanted to go with us. And the mother confessed that, every morning she would pack her bag and stay by the door. She wants to go. At least she was able to say OLG, OLG. And so that makes the mother cry. So all of us were quite emotional. I said, Mommy, is there nothing we can do about this? We don't mind coming to your house. And she said, no, the church will still find out that she wants to go, but she just can't go. And that was how we lost that child. Unfortunately, we lost contact. And in fact, the mother wasn't keen on us coming back again because of religious differences. And she said, no, the church will find out, we can't just come, that she doesn't know what to do about it. And I don't know what has become of the child till late.
You see, before now, in our society, mostly this Nigerian society, we're not used to this disorder. Before now, we're not used to this disorder. People started getting to know about this disorder a few years ago, mostly in Nigeria. Even those in the medical field, most of them up to now, they don't know what we're talking about in this field. Now, For those people who have such belief concerning autism, we say that those people are still ignorant of autism. They are ignorant of autism. Ignorant in the sense that awareness has not gotten to them, or they have heard about it, but they did not believe that truly something like this exists.
The discrimination and stigmatization of people living with autism stems from nothing else but lack of awareness.
When it comes to autism or neurodevelopmental disorders in Nigeria, the awareness on a scale of 0 to 10, I would say is about 4 or 5 over 10. But the awareness is still poor, and we still need to go back to basics, back to the communities. I mean, it's obvious the neighbors will know something is wrong, so they don't like bringing out the children. And when they go to regular school, sometimes, because unfortunately our children can have what we call self-injurious behaviors, like banging their head on the wall or hitting their slapping their heads. So the children in the regular schools will go and complain to their parents, and their parents will come back to that same school and demand that my children are withdrawn from that particular school, or they will all withdraw their own children. So you see schools rejecting our children so the discrimination is high, because they feel that our children will influence the behaviors of their own children. They feel it's spiritual that will attack their own children, and because it's what they don't understand. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, what people don't understand, they ascribe to spiritual issues. So the discrimination is so high, and we pray that this April month will be able to desensitize the general public and let them know that autism is not infectious, it's not contagious, but they're just children that reason in a different way and want to be taught differently for them to learn.
David has been at the OLG Autism Center for over 4 years now, and he has made significant improvements with the intense therapy and supervision he has gotten.
A little improvement in the speech. For activities, he has really improved. His motor skills and every other thing has really improved. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God. He can bathe himself. He can feed himself. He has his own way of communicating when he needs things. He knows how to drive your attention. He likes, he plays with his younger ones. Yeah, he can dress himself, undress himself. I believe that autism is not being taken seriously in Nigeria. Take, for instance, there's no government structure. Government does not lay any structure for autistic children. There's no center where you can take an autistic child to. So you have to pay 10,000 naira. That's expensive. I say, so what's the government contributing to all this? Imagine OLG. OLG is privately owned. I'm yet to see a government institution that run an autistic center for kids for free.
Funding especially for OLG has been quite poor. I know that we do a lot of work here. We're busy every day. We go the extra mile. For us, working with children is just beyond the call of duty. It's a family thing. The children are family to us, and whatever you can do for your own child, so long as you're working here, you must or you have to do for my own children here. So we take it beyond that. So it's draining everybody, even personal financial capacity. So we need funding from people that can help us sponsor activities like the one we just had. We also need funding to create awareness where we are and also in our communities. We need funding to do training for schools, for churches or religious bodies. We need funding to do a lot of activities for the children, because it deserves a lot. It requires a lot of money. And then the things and the materials and equipment we need to work with the children are quite expensive. And you have to keep on replacing because, my children they are special. So sometimes they might not last because, so yes.
It takes a very special parent to advocate and care for the needs of a child who has to struggle to fit into the world. There is need for government at all levels to start funding and implementing programs that are capable of giving our children the best start in life. Every human being has the same right to grow, develop, be accepted, and perform their roles in the society, including achieving some levels of independence. Special children can only get there if they have the support of their parents and the community they belong to. You can be key to an effective and appropriate program for a child with autism, to his or her happy and successful future devoid of stigmatization. Let's show love to a special child today.